now we get to a thing that a lot of people are saying about. I don't know if they're trying to demean the Bucks or trying to demean the other competition, but the question is this Milwaukee Bucks team? Would you categorize this as a super team? And I guess I'll start off. I will say no, because a super team means you have multiple superstars. You only have one. That's the easiest way, simplest way, fastest way to even end this discussion, because there's one guy and you have two basically borderline star players. They all know their roles. Drew Holiday, he plays defense. He scores when he can. And then you have Chris Middleton, who's a closer. They don't have two other players that can do basically a multitude of things every single time. And that's why the Milwaukee Bucks are not a super team. They play as a team. They're not a super team. And one of the arguments people are making is, so is the Lakers from last year a super team?
Look,
now that's
No.
kind of interesting.
No.
And that's why Arun and Siobhan being here is very interesting here, because that's kind of interesting. I'm really conflicted on that, because you had LeBron, who was the greatest player in the NBA last year, and then you had AD, who I think last year we can say was a top 5, bare minimum top 8 player. So that's like, we know Giannis is a top 3, top 5 player as of right now. Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday would not even scratch top 20.
no.
So,
A super
okay,
team,
Siobhan, go ahead. You can start off. Do you believe this team is a super team? And also your thoughts on the Lakers as a super team.
who I know it was Steven Jackson that said that they're a super team. I think that is just a way to demean this team, because that is absolutely ridiculous. A super team is at least 3 players, all in their current primes. Besides Giannis, who the hell is a superstar, or in their prime Hall of Fame player right now on the Bucks team? I can't name anyone but Giannis. Chris Middleton, great player. Nowhere close to a superstar. So no, the Bucks are not a super team. I think that word is just thrown out there way too loosely. There have been the only super team in the league right now is Brooklyn. They've had no results yet, but on paper you have 3 Hall of Fame players all in their prime right now. That's the only super team in this league currently. And the last super team that we've had was, again, the same team with KD on them, the Golden State Warriors. Last year's Lakers team, besides LeBron and AD, and I think LeBron's not in his prime anymore. Still an all-star, still a superstar. I don't think he's in his prime anymore. But regardless, even if, let's say he's still a top 3 player along with AD, that team is not a super.
Siobhan, before Arun gets in this or Chaitan gets in this, since you're saying 3, I just want to mention this, because the Lakers team with Shaq and Kobe was considered a super team.
Who considers them a super team? They're both phenomenal players. I just don't think it's a super team. It's a 1-2 punch. It's like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
Whoa!
Okay.
Scottie Pippen can't
They're not
scratch one of those two.
Were the Bulls a super team?
No, because they had one guy.
Oh, then the Lakers 04 team with Kobe and Shaq. No, they're not a super team. They have 2 superstar players.
You need 3. So your reasoning is they need 3, right?
Yeah, I don't think. Listen, Shaq is the most dominant big man. Kobe's Kobe. No explanation needed. Yes, they're probably a better 1-2 punch than. Of course, Shaq is much better than Scottie, but neither of them are super teams. And anyone that says that is just trying to discredit any of these teams.
And I know why you guys think they might be a super team, because Karl Malone and Gary P. But like Siobhan
I'm not
said,
even counting that year, because those guys are done.
year. But
you counted the year
the
before?
year they won.
Has to be in their prime. You need 3 players. 1-2, a 1-2 punch is one thing, but when you have 3 legitimate prime all-star caliber, Hall of Fame caliber,
they have to be in their prime too. Yeah.
They have to be in their prime.
So that means the only super team of this generation is the Golden State Warriors.
No, Brooklyn Nets.
No, you forgot the Nets. Yeah.
And Miami.
Well, yeah.
How would
D-Wade
Miami,
was in his prime.
how would Miami be in that?
See, but
Was LeBron not in his prime? Was D-Wade not in his prime? Chris Bosh was
yeah.
So then we gotta put Cleveland in this too. Then
Kyrie.
I don't
Kyrie,
think
Kevin Love.
See,
I don't know about the whole Kyrie thing. I don't
They
think
were. I don't know because like
See,
it's tricky because
Kyrie-
you
That's
can
what I'm
say that was a
saying.
super
That's what I'm
team, but
saying.
then the team that they were going against was like just next level super team.
Yeah.
So
My-
like I don't know.
my issue here is, the way we want to describe a super team is they need 3 guys, right? But the way I want to describe a super team is that prolonged dominance that you had, because okay, the first Bulls run, it was MJ, right? It was, and then you can give it to Scotty. That second run was MJ, Scotty, Dennis Rodman, who are all 3 top 50 players all time.
Mm-hmm.
That's Shaq and Kobe. I don't think I've ever seen a duo more dominant than those 2 guys. And if they stayed together any longer, they would have won more than 3 titles.
When you have two of the top 10 players of all time, it's very difficult to not say that's not a super team.
Exactly.
Same thing with Magic and Kareem, 2 of the top 10 greatest players of all time. Everyone's list, Kareem and Magic are in the top 10. Shaq and Kobe are in the top 10. I would say you would have to put them there. Then we get to Larry Bird, Kevin McHale,
Robert Parrish,
Johnson. Like that's
Yep.
what. So I'm saying that's what I'm saying. That's why I love this. To be honest, I love this conversation because it's kind of
Tricky,
is.
yeah.
I
But
can name it off right
think-
now.
I think being a super team and playing superb are 2 different things. Just because you have a bunch of super,
Yeah, like okay, I'm gonna point this out right now, Siobhan. This is
Dominance
great.
is what makes them a super team.
what's
No,
that?
because let's get back to the topic. It was Bucks. Are Bucks considered a super team? No,
that was laughable when I heard that.
because
No, it was close.
it's just because Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton stepped up in the finals compared to the regular season. Just because they stepped up doesn't mean that that's a super team. They just happen to step up and contribute. Like for example, Chris Middleton's he averaged 5 more points compared to the regular season. Drew Holiday averaged 3 more points and 3 more assists in compared to the finals to the regular season. So these guys just stepped up. It's not that these guys were already these players. No, these guys just stepped up. Unlike a super team where KD, Curry, and Clay, where you already know that these guys are gonna contribute no matter what happens. You know, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, we didn't know if they were gonna show up. We didn't know if Drew Holiday was. Remember that one game Drew Holiday didn't even show up. He went 4 for 20 that one game. I forgot what. I think it was game
He
4
went
or
4 for
5.
19 yesterday.
4 for 19. Yeah.
Yeah, if you were considered that a super team, then Drew Holiday wouldn't be shooting. 4
Okay.
for 20.
Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton also are both making the max. I'm just saying.
And
They're
it's
making max
just
money.
everybody just knows
Everyone
their
makes max money.
roles.
No, that's the point. That's the point. They're max money, so I expect you to play decent basketball, man.
So
So yeah, that's
let me-
why this is a joke. To think this team is a super, that's flat out a joke, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Okay, now let me play devil's advocate here. Say Bogdanovich was on this team. Would you say it's a super team?
No.
Oh.
Still wouldn't.
Yo,
Okay.
the term super team.
Okay, let's get Aminder. Let's get Aminder. He didn't go yet. Aminder, what do you think?
Well, I was just gonna add on to what Arun was saying. What
Go ahead.
basically Arun was trying to say is that it's just talent being unleashed. That's it. It's plain and simple. That's it. That's it. They're just stepping up and they're just showing up. That's it. Yeah, sometimes they don't, but most of the times they are showing up and then getting buckets and doing, having that great teamwork, passing the ball, getting their players open, always putting pressure, and the plays are just great and clean. Simple as that. So I mean, to answer the question, they're not a super team though.
So I think everyone
just-
here agrees this
Yeah,
is not a super team. Yeah.
And that's the way you asked earlier too about the Lakers. No, they're not a super team either.
Arun,
Yeah,
what do you
Lakers
think?
now
Arun,
over.
I don't think I got your comment on that.
Abby, do you think they're a super team?
the Lakers from last year?
Just yes or no?
No.
Yeah, with Montrez and Mark and the last team with Drummond.
I want to say I don't see that's the thing.
They
I
had
don't
Drummond
think so.
too. Oh,
I don't
shit.
think so.
And this
Because
is-
if I compare LeBron and AD to Shaq and Kobe, it's 2-2. But the Shaq and Kobe one, that's a whole different ball game we talking about. Because Shaq was Anthony Davis. Arun, I know you love him. I think he's a great player too. But Shaq is a
Shaq
top
is
10.
the most dominant player ever.
Shaq is
No
what
answer.
Giannis is now.
Yeah.
Shaq
And
was
Shaq did
Giannis.
this for seasons.
Yes, Shaq was averaging 30 and 15 in the finals.
Yeah.
Shaq was Giannis of the beginning of the century. That's what he was. And now you added prime, not prime, but entering number 8 Kobe, not 24, not the wise Kobe, but the young freak athletic Penny Hardaway / Michael Jordan version of Kobe. LeBron, like Shavam said, LeBron's prime was in Miami, not in last year. Anthony Davis, he's in his prime, yes. But even Anthony Davis, he's not Shaq. And LeBron James last year, can you say he was equal to Kobe from that time period? You can make the argument, and I won't deny that, because he was still, in my opinion, the greatest.
He was an MVP candidate, man. When healthy.
Yeah, he was the best player last year in the NBA. So that's why, yes,
Father time.
that I give you. So LeBron, yes, 80 was not even close to Shaq, in my opinion. So that's why when you say that's why when you say you need 3, like that's where, because this Brooklyn Nets 3, James Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, is individually compared to Clay, Steph, and KD, we can both agree we would take KD and Steph over KD and Kyrie.
That 3 over this 3.
But then you put James Harden in this individual player. I despise James Harden, the player, obviously, but individually, he has accomplished way, way, way more than Klay Thompson.
So in that fact, they're both super teams. And like Shaitan's point, it's not only, how good the players are, it's sustained dominance over a period of time. Last year's Lakers, it was, kind of 1 and none. If they were healthy, they would, I think they would have been in the finals. But with the super team, for sure that they will 99% they will be in the finals.
That's the point right there. That's the point right there.
Right
they
there.
are favored to win the finals.
Only the Lakers fans here had Lakers making it to the finals, or everybody else. Shaitan had I don't know who he said he was going to the finals, but I know it wasn't Lakers. Abby,
Mavs.
You had Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, but
who's making it out the West? 5 years ago, Warriors. Not even a question.
Yep.
So it's just I no, they weren't in my opinion super teams. There's only been a handful of super teams. Miami Heat.
I can name them off right now. The 86 Celtics, 96 Bulls, the 2000 Lakers. Then it's
our list. Yeah, our list different.
Antonio.
I don't have either of those teams.
We always forget San Antonio.
No. Because Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are not superstars.
They're not superstars.
They are Hall of Famers.
They're Hall of Famers, but I wouldn't call that a super team.
They're Hall of Famers.
Prolonged dominance. They were dominant for 20 years.
They are, but I feel like there's just so many factors to it. But I'm not saying they
were dominant for 20 years.
But you got to realize, like back then, like the league was a lot different than what it is now, too.
But they were dominant for 20. They took out the same Detroit Pistons team that took out the 2000 Lakers. They then come back and take out.
But that was what they were
Miami Heat.
But that's what I'm saying. Like back then, the league was different. So back then, your dominance was a lot different than what is dominance now in the league. I would say. But so I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing. That's what I'm saying. So I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. Like
I love Tony Parker. I love my favorite players of all time. They're not top 75 players ever. So, like, it's very hard to say that.
Yeah, it's just a
prolonged
group of players. I don't know. I just feel like super team is just it has to be superstar caliber players.
But how many teams can you say have been a dynasty?
See, dynasty and super teams are not the same thing. In my opinion.
They're different. Yeah, those are really different.
But
Spurs are a dynasty. That's actually
a lot
good.
of times they go hand in hand.
They do. A super team can be a dynasty, but I don't think just because you're a dynasty, you're a super team.
All right, but take this in a hypothetical sense, right? Say Brooklyn never wins a title with this big 3, right? Would you?
They're still a super team.
They will still be a super team,
but they're not a dynasty.
But when you're ranking them as teams that have been dominant, where would you put the Spurs compared to them?
If the Brooklyn Nets never win a ring, then I of course I put the Spurs above them, even though they're not a super team. A super team doesn't even have to be successful, to be honest, because we haven't seen Brooklyn accomplish anything. It's just a collection of superstar players.
Prime
their
example,
prime.
Brooklyn Nets.
You can't, like I said, in your prime, like, because that Kobe, Steve Nash, and Dwight Howard, that was not super team either. Just want to throw that out there.
I mean, they won shit.
On paper, yeah, super team.
Well, Kobe got hurt and Steve Nash was done. He was 40 years old.
Yo, Steve Nash is back, still hurting.
Yeah, so, like you said, Shaitan, when you were listing out the things, and when you Lakers, the 04, 05, I don't think they're a super team. I don't think so.
I'm talking about the 2000s. I'm talking about Shaq and Kobe. That's a super team. I don't care what anyone says. Those are 2 top 10 players all time.
But so were LeBron and AD last year. Are they a super team?
Yeah, but that's where the prolonged dominance comes in. Say they won this year, then I would say yes.
Then we shouldn't have to agree to disagree because I don't think so. But I mean, we can go all day. We can go all day on this topic. But in my opinion, last decade, Miami Heat, Golden State Warriors, and the Brooklyn Nets are the only 3 super teams in this era, in my opinion, in this last decade. But I think everybody answered. Nobody here thinks that the Bucks are a super team.
Not even close. It's more of a comedy act than anything else.
But they need something to talk about.
They got spice up the end of the NBA. You know, because of drafts next week.
It's just one guy. It's just Steve Jackson. Man.
It's just Steven Jackson, right? I mean,
he's stirring up this whole controversy.
One quick topic. It's not even a thing. Giannis is 1 ring compared to KD's 2 rings. What has more? What?
Hey man, remember that post game? That was literally a direct shot at KD. What do you say? We don't need super teams.
No, that was
right here. That was a shot.
Harden.
I was against. That was. You could say anybody that literally was on a.
Yeah, I agree. KD also. But
everybody.
Because Siobhan brought this up while we were watching the game,
and I loved it.
James Harden was the one that said, "Oh, it doesn't take skill to do what Giannis does." And it's so funny how this man is a champion, and your ass
and he beat you
home nursing your bum hamstring because of whatever strip club you be going to, because that's what you deserve.
Because the lap dance be too hard.
Let's see. Answer Shavam's question. I would pick Giannis ring over KD's.
I think every single person here would.
I'm pretty sure everyone would pick that.
I don't ask, but I think everyone does. Yeah.
If I put Giannis on that Warriors team with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, Kevin Love, and who was a set? Kevin Love and who? Tristan Thompson? Yeah, bye. They're both getting dogged. Left, right, up, middle, down, left. Everyone do it.
Bro, the 2015-2016 without KD went
7-9. Exactly.
They don't need anyone. They don't need KD.
They lost Game 7 at home by 1 shot. That's how great they were.
Yeah.
They lost in Game 7. They didn't lose in.
Could have went either way.
Exactly. So it's just ridiculous, and that's why Kevin Durant. Listen, we all love the player. He's one of the greatest. He's if not the greatest scorer ever. Going forward, these rings, if he gets one, listen, man, I know from my perspective, it means nothing.
I'll take my 0 rings over any rings KD was winning right now.
And then he had the audacity to say that Warriors final was better than this one.
Yo, that Warriors final.
They thought they were evenly matched with Cleveland. And at this point, man, he's just trying to self-defense his own rings. And what else would you expect from him? He's going to try to defend himself, but he can't. Anyone that has watched basketball, knows it's straight joking. It's a laugh. You're just playing yourself, but it is what it is. He can't go back in time and change it. I don't think he would change it, to be honest.
The only game I ever enjoyed of the KD Warriors in the finals is that one LeBron puts up that 51 piece.
And they lost to J.R. Smith.
I've never seen something like that. And we're talking about LeBron here. We're not even talking about the Warriors. I'm just like, yo, LeBron, though.
Well, regardless, the NBA season has concluded. And that hurts to say. This time being concluded in July. Usually it concludes in June. But that's what COVID has done to our world. The regular season will begin October 19th. We have the draft next Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Free agency starts first week of August, I'm pretty sure. It's all topsy-turvy based off of a few past years. And then the training camps and teams and players will all get back in September, around there. The season will start again, October 19th. Back to normal as you can get. But the NBA season has concluded. The Milwaukee Bucks are our champions. And that's about it.
All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.